obedience is the key to our elevation. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of Torah portion Tzav. And let's continue even further in Leviticus or Vayikra, chapter number 1, discussing the Olah offering. Again, this is our elevation offering. It's also called whole offering or burnt offering. It is that which pertains to the total consumption of the korban, the near approaching, the drawing near. It is our means of seeking to go higher and to draw closer to the Most High. In order to properly understand all of the complexities of this particular presentation of our offering, let's go back to the book of Shemot or Exodus, chapter number 24, where Moshe is said to have come and related to all the people all the words of Yahweh and all the right rulings, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahweh has spoken, we shall do. And Moshe wrote down all the words of Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and built a slaughter place at the foot of the mountain, and 12 standing columns for the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, and they offered ascending offerings, elevation offerings, olot, and slaughterings of peace offerings to Yahweh of bulls, peace offerings being the Shelamim offerings. And Moshe took half the blood and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the slaughter place. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of all the people. And they said, all that Yahweh has spoken we shall do and obey. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, see the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you concerning all of these words. So the phrase, all that Yahweh has said, we shall do and obey. That's where we get the phrase, Naaseh vanishma. Naaseh vanishma. That is, that we will do and we will obey. What this implies is, even before we have understanding, even before I figured out what the command is all about, I will still honor it and do it. The Judaism teaches that it's in the doing of the word that we gain understanding. What a marvelous concept. No excuses, just do and trust. And in the doing and trusting, he will give us the answer. Now, back in chapter 1 of Vayikra, our beginning verse here, in verses number 9, number 13, and also in verse number 17, as it details each of the 3 types of admissible presentations, animal types that can be presented. Each type of olah is said to be a ishe riach nikuach la Yahweh. What that means is an offering of fire, a pleasing odor or aroma to Yahweh. So the end result of each one of these is that Yah is well pleased. The odor of the smoke comes up and he accepts it. So what is this talking about? There's an interesting connection, we'll use that word, found in the book of Bamidbar, or Numbers, chapter number 28. And let's look at the first 6 verses. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, command the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, take heed to bring my offering. My food for my offerings made by fire is a sweet fragrance to me at their appointed time. You shall say to them, this is the offering made by fire which you are to bring to Yahweh, 2 male lambs, a year old, perfect ones, daily, every day. A continual ascending elevation offering. This offering is called the daily continual. In some translations, the Hebrew phrasing is tamid. It is the daily continual offering. Every morning at 9 a.m., a lamb, a year old and perfect, was laid on the altar in behalf not of one person, but of the nation of Am Israel. That lamb was then consumed, and at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, a second lamb before evening, or what is called in between the evenings, was also presented for the same purpose, for the nation of Am Israel. This took place every day of the year, including Shabbats and including even Yom Kippur. Every single day, one at 9 a.m., one at 3 p.m., again, each day for Am Israel. Now we will read over in Daniel how that this will be reinstituted, and it is the Antichrist, the Anti-Mashiach, who will cause this to stop. Now, what is signifying then is an olah, signifying that as a covenant people, Israel will live out the teachings and instructions of the Torah and will listen to Yah's commands, because we find again the corresponding phrase connecting these of Le'ishrei Riach Nikio. Let me try that again. I'm butchering the Hebrew. Le'ishrei Riach Nikioki. That is, again, an offering made by fire, well-pleasing, and a pleasing aroma to Yah. The phrasing is similar enough that we understand that this Olah offering on a daily basis is connected to what goes all the way back to Exodus or Shemot chapter 24. Each day, Israel is signifying twice a day, we will do and we will obey. We will hear, we will obey. But even if we don't understand, we will still obey. Did Israel keep that promise? When I say Israel, I'm not talking about just those, that's the Jews, they failed. It's not talking just about Jews here. All of Am Israel. There are 12 tribes here, plus the Levitical priesthood. And I can tell you that we have all failed to keep the word, to simply trust him and obey him. So these offerings would be made for us. Now, what is really interesting is that Mashiach, Yeshua, hung on the tree, on the cross, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That day, he was the fulfillment of the daily Tamid offering, hanging on the tree. And by my estimation and what I've studied, I believe he would have been on the Mount of Olives, which means then that the Temple Mount would have been very much laid out right in front of him. As Yeshua hung on the Mount of Olives, he would have had a bird's eye view, if you will, looking down on the courtyard of the Temple Mount. He would have seen those lambs laid on that altar at 9 a.m. and at 3 p.m. And at the end of the offering of the evening sacrifice at 3 p.m., Yeshua said, "It is finished." He was not saying that the Levitical priesthood was finished. He wasn't saying that the altar sacrifice was finished. He was saying, "It is finished. I have accomplished atonement for the failures of my people, Am Israel, to keep their word when they promise all that Yah has said, we will hear and we will do." We failed in that. But Yeshua has atoned for us. Now that doesn't mean then that you and I are free to neglect the commands. Well, he paid a price, and so therefore I don't have to worry about it. No, he covered our disobedience. He has made a way of atonement, but the way that we prove that we have understood his price, that we understand the purpose of his atonement for us, is that we now hear and choose to obey. As we talked yesterday, we know that we love him when we obey his commands. It's all connected. It is all connected. May we now rise up through Yeshua and be so connected with the Father. Until tomorrow, shalom.